Happening now, we have the latest on a deadly airplane crash in the Jamestown airport. And we hear from health officials on the impacts of smoky air created by Canadian wildfires. Plus, our county executive spoke to a UN ambassador that lives in Jamestown, New York.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now. This is WNY News Now with live breaking news.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Bronson Rasmussen, and we start today with breaking news. Just into our newsroom, human skeletal remains have been found in an abandoned shed in Warren County. Now, Pennsylvania State Police are investigating the discovery of human skeletal remains in Warren County. Now, troopers made the discovery inside an abandoned shed on a property on Kidder Road in Freehold Township on Tuesday. State Police said that the death investigation is currently ongoing and resulted in no further details. Now, this is an ongoing story and will be updated when more information becomes available. Well, a plane crash in the Jamestown airport has claimed 2 lives, and the pilot has been identified as 52-year-old Roger J. Ryall from Toronto, Canada, where the plane's passenger as 52-year-old David J. Hughes of British Columbia. Now, right here is some pictures that we got this morning of the actual scene itself, and really we talked to the sheriff, and there has not been an actual update since yesterday. The plane, a Cirrus SR-22T, departed from Oshawa, Canada, Tuesday morning. The plane landed in Erie, PA, then again at the Jamestown airport to fill up. The aircraft left the airport at 1:41 p.m., heading to Waterloo, Ontario, crashing 11 minutes later. Crews were on scene within minutes, but they discovered a fully engulfed wreckage.
There's nothing left of the plane. There's parts, and that's it. It was an intense fire. As we stated, we believe it fueled up. Believe the capacity of that plane is 92 gallons, so it was likely 92 gallons of fuel on board.
Multiple witness reports involve seeing a parachute. While accurate, it was part of the plane, not a person.
And that plane is equipped with a parachute for if they were to have mechanical issues, they could activate that. So that there was a parachute, but it was not a individual. It was for the airplane itself.
On screen now is a rendering of what our crews believe the flight path was for the aircraft. Now, it's currently unknown what had actually happened inside the plane. And as of this morning, the FAA and NTSB have formally begun their investigation at the Jamestown airport. Southwestern High School is gearing up for the launch of a new extracurricular activity hitting the hallways next year. Run by Southwestern High School business teacher Barbara Carlson, this new entrepreneurial club will give students a taste of real-world business. Students involved in the club will have the duty of managing the school store, giving them the opportunity to gain real work experience, along with marketing skills and financial fluency. Now, the youngsters will also be meeting with local businesses, such as the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, to have access to professionals in the respective fields, and hoping to showcase diverse business opportunities.
We do need venues like this and outlets like this to help our kids to understand what it's like once you leave here, how to properly conduct yourself in the workplace and networking and stuff like that. So yes, it's very important. I do feel, the need to definitely improve social skills because, like you said, COVID, it was hard.
Now, the goal of the new club is to ensure that these future business leaders have the skills that they need to be successful in the real world after leaving high school. Carlson encourages other districts to create their own variations of this club so many young minds can be prepared as possible for entering the world of business. While the more than 400 Canadian wildfires are coating the northern U.S. states in an ever-thickening haze of polluted air, causing an ongoing air quality alert. This footage was captured this morning by our crews. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has issued air quality health advisories across western New York. The alerts are a result of the fine smoke particles traveling across the region, which can affect the lungs and heart. The air quality alerts warn sensitive groups such as children, older adults, and those with pre-existing conditions such as asthma and chronic pulmonary diseases.
You know, today would be a good day to find some things in the house to get caught up on. We've been blessed with beautiful weather lately, and we've all been working hard outside on our yards and properties. However, this may give us a break to stay inside with the windows closed, without fans, and figure some other things out indoors. You know, we are recommending, especially for those with underlying medical conditions such as asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, to avoid being outdoors today. For the general public, we would recommend, you know, trying to stay indoors as much as possible.
Now here in Jamestown, the Jamestown School District canceled 2 sporting events in the afternoon. In addition, the schools are also limiting outdoor activities, and they assured us that their nurses are on top of every student with underlying conditions. While speaking of that smoke, we'll switch to our First Defense weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Andrew Stevenson, and it really looks cloudy over that lake, but it really is just a thick layer of smoke, isn't it?
Yeah. There's sunshine out there. We just can't see because of all the smoke. Of all the cameras we have, our Chautauqua Lake cam actually best shows the smoke across the region. You can barely see what's happening across the lake with all the smoke across the region. And as a result of that smoke, as mentioned, we do have an air quality alert. It's in effect for all of New York State that goes until midnight tonight due to these particles from the smoke. Air quality values are higher than 100, what they normally should be, and we're in the category of 125 plus. So children, elderly, those with health conditions, it's not recommended that you spend a lot of time outdoors today. And across northwestern Pennsylvania into Warren and McKean County, there's a special weather statement today for an elevated fire risk. Let's take a look at some of those air quality categories. Normally, as said in that previous video, normally we have pretty good air quality here in Western New York, but today due to those fires, it's actually higher. We're in about 125, so that category is about unhealthy for some of those. Again, the elderly, kids, those with health issues. And you get higher than that, hopefully we do not get higher then it becomes very hazardous for almost everyone. So for today, we're about 125 on the air quality index, which is unhealthy for some. Here's a look at the almanac. We made it to a high of 69 degrees yesterday. Actually, if we didn't have that smoke in the air, we would be warmer, but that smoke is helping keep temperatures down. We only made it to a high of 69 yesterday. Our low was 50. The records for today, 92 set back in 1925, 35 is the record low set back in 1985. So here's your First Defense weather forecast for the rest of the afternoon. Normally we would have partly to mostly sunny skies out there, but that haze will make the smoke will make the skies look more hazy, and you also smell the smoke in the air. Highs today will be in the mid 60s to close to 70 with a north wind of 6 to 13 miles per hour. I'll have a look at that full forecast, hopefully including some rain coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Andrew, we'll see you then. As WNY News Now continues, we look at New York lawmakers as they consider a bill that would legalize medical aid in dying. And later, how the U.S. is settling its debt could affect SNAP benefits. Stay with us, as WNY News Now will be right back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
On this episode of Lead and Lures, pro staffer and lethal lady Caitlin Armstrong takes out her big Ohio buck. Months of hard work, dedication, and scouting have led her to this moment. You're not going to want to miss this episode of Lead and Lures on Channel 716 Roku TV. And if you want to see more of Caitlin Armstrong, follow her on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
You know, hunting
Caitlin
on
Armstrong.
private land has been quite the experience.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Hi, I'm Dave Manella, Chairman of the Italian American Charity Golf Association, and it is our goal to help in the fight against cancer-related care. We have held our annual charity fundraiser for over 52 years and raised over $1.6 million for the healthcare facilities throughout our community. This includes UPMC Cancer Treatment Center and the Star Hospice House. Our next tournament will be held from June 8th through June 10th at Holiday Valley. If you would like more information, you can go to icharitygolf.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Well, this week is New York's last week of the legislative session. Some advocates traveled to Albany to urge New York state lawmakers to pass a bill that would legalize medical aid in dying. Now the law is implemented in 10 other states and the District of Columbia. A few weeks ago, Assemblymember Amy Paulin, who had carried this bill for 8 years, said she didn't think the bill was going to go through. Well, now she says the bill has gained some momentum.
I believe when this bill comes to the floor, it will pass the Assembly with resounding numbers.
She continues to say that there is a stronger possibility of it passing than they've ever had before. Lawmakers in the Senate also say there's momentum in their chamber. This bill is one of hundreds that could pass this week. We'll be keeping track of all legislation and other bills as session comes to close within the next few days. While the debt ceiling deal signed by President Biden has led to some changes to Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, there are new age requirements that affect who is eligible for SNAP benefits. Now, Erie News Now's Jameson Hexenberg explains what this means for the program moving forward.
Retired firefighter Bob Hanna has relied on SNAP benefits for the past 10 years.
It's really hard. I'm on disability and everything, and it's really hard to make ends meet anymore.
But with additional pandemic payments ending in March, the past 3 months have been tough.
Prices are outrageous in the stores, and what you used to be able to get, what you could with your SNAP, you can't afford now. So you have to make do with what you're going to get.
And now, up to 750,000 Americans may lose SNAP assistance due to new eligibility requirements.
Cutting everybody down and stuff, and nobody's going to be able to make it. I'm surprised there isn't a civil war going on right now about all this.
The new provision requires adults aged 18 to 54 to prove that they work 80 hours a month. Previously, the age bracket was 18 to 49 years old. Now, there are some exemptions to the new deal. For instance, veterans, people experiencing homelessness, and young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 who were previously in foster care will not be impacted. With ongoing inflation, people like Hannah also rely on programs like the Second Harvest Food Bank's Produce Express for food assistance.
Helped out a lot food-wise because I live alone. My friend and I come here. We both live alone. We're senior citizens, so it really has helped out a lot.
It helps me, my children, my family out. It's a really good thing that they have it going on.
An ongoing effort to address food insecurity. Jameson Hixenbaugh, Erie News Now.
Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin, well, he was spotted on the football field Tuesday. The Bills general manager says that Hamlin first put his helmet on during the team's final practice last week. Now this is a big step for Hamlin, who suffered a cardiac arrest on January 2nd during a game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Hamlin had lost his pulse and first responders performed CPR and revived him through resurrection and defibrillation. In April, the 25-year-old was cleared to resume football activities. And when asked how practice went, he said it went pretty well. while teachers and advocates from across Pennsylvania were in Harrisburg pushing for 3 legislative priorities leading up to this year's budget deadline. Our PA State Capitol correspondent, Brendan Scanlon, tells us more about their priorities and why they say it is imperative to get them across the finish line.
We're in the midst of the worst teacher shortage crisis the Commonwealth has ever seen, and all signs point toward it only getting worse.
With just a few weeks until the budget deadline, Laura Boyce with Teach Plus Pennsylvania is calling for action.
We're calling for a $100 million investment into the educator workforce focused on 3 priorities.
The first priority is paid student teaching.
It's basically like an unpaid internship.
Aspiring educators like Haley Sill have to complete an unpaid 12-week student teaching program. Sill says gas prices, travel, and tuition costs make it hard to meet basic needs.
Not only would paid student teaching be beneficial for the wellness of incoming teachers and the future generation, but it would also display the message that as a student teacher, your job is important.
State Senators Ryan Aument and Vincent Hughes agree. That's why they sponsored bipartisan legislation to establish a student teacher stipend program.
There is no compensation. There is no payment. People are doing it for the love of their profession.
We must remove the financial barriers wherever and whenever possible.
Senate Bill 300 would also incentivize student teachers in high vacancy districts. Grow Your Own programs are another priority for advocates. The programs create pathways to enter the profession through various partnerships.
By nurturing educators from local neighborhoods and creating alternative pathways, Grow Your Own programs help create a more diverse and culturally competent teacher workforce.
The third priority for advocates is what they call plugging the data hole. The state is not required to collect data on teacher vaccines, which makes it very difficult to address the teacher shortage. Well, coming up, we look at changes to the kitchen as lawmakers debate over gas stoves. And later, a look into a mass shooting at a high school graduation that left 2 dead and more injured. But first, return with a look at our full weather forecast.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Macromites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights. Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down. Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
Hi, I'm Dave Manella, Chairman of the Italian-American Charity Golf Association, and it is our goal to help in the fight against cancer-related care. We have held our annual charity fundraiser for over 52 years and raised over $1.6 million for the healthcare facilities throughout our community. This includes UPMC Cancer Treatment Center and the Star Hospice House. Our next tournament will be held from June 8th through June 10th at Holiday Valley. If you would like more information, you can go to ihcharitygolf.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and every day. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Currently in downtown Jamestown, we got hazy skies out there. The current temperature at the Jamestown Airport as of the noon hour is 62 degrees with a north wind of 12 miles per hour. And the visibility at the Jamestown Airport is down to 3 miles as a result of that smoke. Let's take a look at the models here. This is the HRRR smoke model, and it's showing around this afternoon the smoke should peak across the southern tier later this afternoon. It will thin out again later tonight and then pick up once again tomorrow. And all this smoke is as a result from those Canadian wildfires. What we need is some rain. Some rain would actually help clear out the atmosphere a little and get rid of some of this smoke. Besides the smoke we're dealing with, we also have another day of an elevated fire risk across the region from the NOAA Storm Prediction Center, which, as I said yesterday, they do severe weather outlooks, but they also do fire outlooks. And the fire outlook is once again elevated today as a result of dry weather. We haven't had any rain. The ground is dry, and we still have breezy winds out there, so it's not recommended that you do any outdoor burning, because any chance that there's a fire, it might spread rather quickly, and we don't want that. We have enough issues dealing with the smoke as it is. Here's what's happening across the northeast right now. Well, we're pretty much dry across our region. There's this low pressure system that's off the Gulf of Maine. That low pressure system is actually going to make its way a little farther to the west overnight tonight and heading into tomorrow, coming back across Maine, and that will hopefully bring some added moisture and instability to the region tomorrow and Friday, and bring some more chances for some scattered showers across the region. Again, we need the rain. Here it is on future scan. Partly to mostly sunny skies through the afternoon tonight. We'll go partly cloudy skies tonight. And as that low pressure system comes a little farther to the west, we'll have some scattered chances from some showers through the day tomorrow, and the same thing Friday. You might even get an isolated thunderstorm out there. Now, this isn't going to be widespread. Some regions won't see anything at all tomorrow, but at least there's some scattered chances for some rain tomorrow, and heading into the day on Friday, we'll do the same thing, and then we'll dry out on Saturday. And then another system is going to hopefully approach the region on Sunday. Now, this low pressure system heading into Sunday and Monday might bring some widespread rain to the region. That will definitely help our drought conditions. Other than that, temperatures over the next few days will be in the low to mid 60s, and we'll go to the lower 70s in the weekend and stay in the lower 70s through next week. So fingers crossed we get some rain soon to clear out the smoke and help with the drought situation.
I will take that 50% chance of rain. Well, now for some headlines from around the nation. Congressional Republicans are getting heated up this week over gas stoves. The House is set to take up legislation that would prevent banning gas stove appliances. Now, this debate was sparked by a federal commission that questioned if there should be regulations on appliances due to safety concerns. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, nearly 2 in 5 U.S. homes have gas stovetops and ovens. Last October, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission made headlines after the commission tossed around the idea of potential rulemaking for gas stoves. Republicans are calling this a type of government overreach.
He has a war against gas stoves.
The chair of the commission later responded by saying, quote, "Research indicates that emissions from gas stoves can be hazardous, and the CPSC is looking for ways to reduce related indoor air quality hazards. But to be clear, I am not looking to ban gas stoves, and the CPSC has no proceeding to do so," end quote. But this week in Congress, House Republicans are turning up the heat on this.
Does the Biden administration not have more serious problems to deal with than trying to tell families in America what kind of stove they should be cooking their food on?
The House is set to consider 2 bills relating to gas stoves. One would limit the conditions under the Department of Energy, could establish energy conservation standards for household stoves and ovens, and the other would prohibit the use of federal dollars from being used by the CPSC for regulating gas stoves or enforcing rules on gas stoves that would result in a ban. President Biden says he does not support a federal ban of gas stoves, but the administration released a statement saying they strongly oppose the Republican proposals because it would undermine science-based consumer product safety and common sense efforts to help Americans cut their energy bills. In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
Now, New York is the first state to ban natural gas and other fossil fuels in most new buildings. The new law encourages the use of climate-friendly appliances such as heat pumps and induction stoves, to make most new residential buildings. While 2 people are dead and 5 others wounded after a shooting Tuesday outside a theater in Richmond, Virginia, where a high school graduation ceremony had just taken place. Now, the shooting happened in Monroe Park after the high school's graduation ceremony in the nearby Altaria Theater. The park is on Virginia Commonwealth University's campus and across the street from the theater itself. 3 off-duty officers working security at the ceremony heard the gunshots outside. They called in the shots fired, and other officers working traffic duty responded. A 36-year-old male and an 18-year-old male who had just graduated were killed. Another gunshot victim suffered life-threatening injuries. Other people were injured from other causes, including a person who was hit by a car in the chaos. Now, a 19-year-old who fled the scene was later taken into custody. Investigators believe that he was known by at least one of the victims, but there's no word on a possible motive. The police also recovered 4 firearms on scene, but they believe one was not related to the incident. Well, Pope Francis is set to undergo abdominal surgery at a hospital in Rome today. The Vatican says it's related to a hernia, which is causing recurrent, painful, and worsening symptoms. According to medical sources, the condition is likely related to a surgery the Pope had in 2021 to remove half of his colon. The 86-year-old had been hospitalized for several days. The Vatican has said there will be no more updates until after the operation. Well, coming up next, we look at a United Nations ambassador who chooses to call Jamestown home.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Have you ever wanted to live out your dreams? Hunt, fish, in all corners of the earth? Well, now's your chance. Follow Primitive Patriot Outdoors as we live out our dreams and show you how to live out yours through outdoor adventures. From Western New York to Africa to all corners of the earth, follow us on this adventure. It's an experience you've never seen before. Lead and Lures, Roku TV, channel 716.
Hi, I'm Dave Manella, Chairman of the Italian-American Charity Golf Association, and it is our goal to help in the fight against cancer-related care. We have held our annual charity fundraiser for over 52 years and raised over $1.6 million for the healthcare facilities throughout our community. This includes UPMC Cancer Treatment Center and the Star Hospice House. Our next tournament will be held from June 8th through June 10th at Holiday Valley. If you would like more information, you can go to ihcharitygolf.com.
Of the many places to rest your head, one United Nations ambassador chooses the city of Jamestown to call home. Now our Alyssa Wright has more on the meeting between the ambassador and County Executive P.J. Wendell.
Really interesting that we have a person of his caliber. He's, he presents at the UN. He's met with several heads of state through, over 50 different countries, kings, dignitaries, etc. So it was quite an honor to be in his presence today to receive the awards that he did present to me.
One of the issues the 2 officials touched on was increasing diversity in the area.
On Friday, we had a question as to how do you bring more diversity into Chautauqua County, and I think Ambassador Sanan would be that conduit to increase the cultural diversity here in Chautauqua County with his knowledge, his understanding of the world, the global perspective. So really excited to see what we can do together in the future.
The county executive believes that Ambassador Sanan is familiar with some of the issues that Chautauqua County faces.
Well, I think, much like everything else, he understands our opioid problems, he understands the poverty and homelessness, but, he's been to Nicaragua and Honduras and Mexico and third world countries that have a much greater problem than we do here in Jamestown County in particular, but he understands that, and he brings the perspective of, as bad as it may seem, it's much worse in other places.
In the end, Wendell is seemingly very positive about the future endeavors involving the ambassador.
So I think there's a much broader perspective of what we need to accomplish here in Chautauqua County. There is no one thing. It's it's just an overall, increase in the positivity, increasing, our footprint when it comes to tourism here in Chautauqua County, but really accentuating and collaborating together.
County Executive Wendell acknowledges that there is work to be done, but is optimistic that with collaboration and patience, the state of the county can be improved. In Jamestown, Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
All right, Alyssa, thank you very much. We'll leave you this live look from outside our studio. And be sure to stay inside today and be safe.